Hello everyone, welcome back to Journey to Wisdom and Wealth. My name is Tara. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Grateful gang. And on this channel, we do budgeting, and we also are following me along in my journey to first-time home ownership. And this is going to be one of the videos on my Home Buyers 101 series. So you guys, I'll link the video above about where I broke down the steps to buying a home, to my knowledge. But I also want to start off by saying I am not a realtor, I'm not a lender. I am just a person in the process of buying my house. So please leave any comments down below if I missed anything, or if there's anything you think the people need to know in the comments. So let's start off by talking about how much I think you should save for a home. Personally, it would be ideal if you could save your full 20%. That way you would completely not have to worry about the PMI, because PMI is literally just a fee they're charging you for not putting a full 20% down. Realistically, however, I know a lot of people, including myself, cannot put 20% down. So depending on the type of loan that you would like to qualify for, then that would determine the amount of money you put down. For example, me, I'm probably going to go the FHA route because my credit score is in the mid-60s, and a lot of times the conventional, depending on who you go with, whether it's a regular bank or a credit union or a lender, you might sometimes have to have like in the 700s for a conventional loan, 740 or more. 740 is really, or more, should be what you are aiming for, but I pretty much paid everything down, and at this point it's just it's going to be a thing of time for it to come up, except for my student loan. That's the only thing I have not paid off. So I would save, if I'm going FHA route, I'm saving 3.5% for my down payment. If you're going conventional, you want to save anywhere between 3, 5, and 10 or 20% for the conventional. As far as closing costs, what I would consider saving, it is usually 3 to 6% of the entire transaction. So I would go ahead and probably save closer to 5%, especially in the climate that we are in right now with the pandemic. And a lot of times you used to, back in the day when it was a buyer's market and not a seller's market, you were able to save a little bit less on that end because your seller would cover a lot of your closing costs. However, it's so competitive right now that that's really not happening these days. A lot of people are even going over in house prices just to get the home. So those are the things that I would save for, as well as I would also make sure that you have your emergency fund intact, whether it's $1,000 or preferably 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved up. And then I would also start saving for a house saving fund for anything that could possibly go wrong, especially if you are not going to purchase a new house. So let's talk about that also really quickly in this video. Purchasing new or used, it's all going to depend on you and possibly your budget. For me, I would love to have purchased a new build, although sometimes in my mind I don't think they're built 100% the best like some of these old time houses. However, it would have a warranty, guarantee, something that will cover you for a while if something goes wrong. So that is definitely a pro, but sometimes it's not in everybody's budget. However, for me, I'm going to have to go with used because I have a much lower budget, but I'm definitely going to be saving for an inspection, which brings me into another part of other things that I am saving for. It's in my home saving binder, and I'll share those with you. This is my house savings binder for my humble home, and I have a bunch of cash envelopes in here that I'm saving for different things for the house that maybe you don't think of when you're saving, because you always want to have a little extra money. It's probably not a great idea to go ahead and spend all your savings on just the purchase of the house. You need extra money for other things that may come up. Some of the things being startup for your monthly bills, where I'm saving $500, inspection that I'm saving $500, food and groceries to kind of stock up your pantry and your house, I'm saving $300, but definitely save on what would be best for you. Tidying up, which is for cleaning supplies and such, which I'm saving $500. Kitchen, which is like pots, pans, utensils, that I'm saving $300. I also have a smart home category, which is personal to me. You might not care about any of that, and I'm trying to save $800. I have a category for home decor, for like lamps, curtain rods. I'm saving $400. furniture, which I have a $1,500 category. That's for like a couch and maybe a dining set, maybe TVs. It depends on how much of a deal I can find. And then I also have a category for reno, which is more for repairs. If I want to paint, take down wallpaper, because my budget is so low, I'll probably have to do a fixer-upper. Door handles, things like that. And I also just realized the other day that I probably need to add something called moving. My family's pretty large and I live by my family now, so I'll probably get them to go ahead and help me move. However, I still would like to, you know, chip in on their gas for going back and forth, as well as feeding them. You got to feed the movers. So, excuse me. So those are my categories, some things that you may want to consider saving for outside that as well. So that's our savings section. Next thing I want to talk to you today in this video, and this will be the last thing, is choosing a lender, because I just did this and I think I applied to 3 or 4 lenders, but I did a stupid mistake. Well, a rookie mistake. I didn't know. So what you don't know, you don't know. So I went along thinking I got my credit to where I needed to be. I had my income coming in on a consistent basis, but I completely didn't realize that, okay, girl, you're a temp at this place, and in order to qualify for a loan, you need to have a permanent position. So keep that in mind. If you're temping, you need to have a permanent position. Also, don't go changing fields in the middle of trying to buy a house unless you're waiting another 2 years. To my knowledge, you have to be in your same field for 2 years or more, or else you have to like work in the new field for 2 years. I think the only difference is if you're like coming straight out of college and you can prove that you were in your 4 years in that field and then you got a job in that particular field. Like if you were studying nursing and then you got a nursing job, then that would be fine. I think for me, somebody who's been doing AP for over 9 years, as long as I find another AP job, I should be fine. To my knowledge, I'll keep you guys updated on that. So that is my first hurdle to go over to find myself a permanent job. I am working, but it's temp to hire. Also, with lenders, I also realized that one of the things before you contact them to do is to create either a physical folder, or I would suggest a digital folder, because everything in this pandemic tends to be digitally now because no one's really meeting up with each other due to the pandemic. And I created a couple folders in a Tara stuff folder and had internal folders. I had W-2s, which had my last 2 years of W-2s, bank statements, which had my last 2 months of bank statements for all my bank accounts. The good thing with Capital One is that they give you one whole bank statement that shows every single thing on it, every single account you have, which was amazing. I also had a folder with my driver's license, copy front and back of it. I also had a folder that had taxes, the last 2 years of taxes in it, and then I had another folder with at least a month or 2 worth of copies of my pay stubs. You should do that first, because once you start filling these online applications out, there is a point in there where they start asking you to upload these items. And if you already have them saved in a folder somewhere on your desktop, laptop, or computer or cell phone, then you are good to go on that portion. As far as finding a lender, my suggestion would be to either, if you already have a real estate agent, maybe check with who they use. However, be careful with that, because some real estate agents will give you someone they use, not because they think they're the best person, but because that lender is paying some kind of marketing fee for them. So be very polite about it and ask them, hey, are you getting some marketing benefits from this person? If they say yes, then you might not want to use them. You know, check the internet, check with family and friends who they've used in the past and see. And then also there's online ones where you can just go to credible.com and check for different ones with lower rates. I always would suggest to definitely do more than one person, however, because you want to see your different grades on what your rates on what's going on. And I would say to also YouTube how to read your lender's pre-approval letter so that you know what you're actually looking at. All right, guys, if I missed anything, all my OGs, Grateful Gang people who know about buying homes or have done more research than me, please leave it down below in the comments. I hope I have not forgot anything. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, in order to be great, you have to be grateful. And I'm super duper grateful for you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Faith over fear, y'all. Bye.